good evening. Let's do some New World. Okay. So we've got 42 mutated caches. Wow, so 42 mutated caches to open. What does that look like? Probably nuts. Anyone returning to game? Well, you're going to have some of these if you've got any mutated orbs that you hadn't used. You have something that looks like this. Cache of mutated armaments. I'm just going to jump to Everfull. So I've been opening some of these caches and storing all the contents in Everfull. And it's a nice opportunity to highlight a few very quick changes that have been made. So one of the first changes that you'll see is different colours of icons. So standard kind of coloured icon, it's Corrupted Heart Longsword, Keen Vicious. But if I look at this one, it's got epic and it tells you that it's named. If it's named, it's likely to be able to go to 600 and get a third perk. So far I've picked up a few of these. The named ones I tend to put a lock icon on them just to make it easier for me to see. So we've got what, 4, 6, 8 there. And then in the gear, the armour, there's some nice named items here. The Vader's coat, some Legos, Doomworker's breastplate, which if you're doing some of the new dungeons is going to be really nice. These I'm not sure. I think I don't think they'll upgrade, but that looks like it will. So what I'm taking from this is anything that has that new colour scheme icon will upgrade. I'm kind of hanging on to some of my umbrals at the moment, but there's a reasonable amount of stuff there that's done that. So let's open 2 caches and you get to see what's in a box. And the answer to that is quite a lot. So let's try one. Okay, I was going to say this box is slightly disappointing. We've got 1 Lego, Keen, Tricking Abyss and Vicious, Corrupted Heart, Rapier and Ranger. That's probably alright, but I'm not the best on Rapier, so don't really know. Over 1,000 Umbral Shards, that's nice. Some Genesis Materia, which is also nice. Where it gets interesting is in the next row. So we've picked up a Heart Rune. We've picked up a Doomwalker's Helm, which, depending on your point of view, is nice or not nice. I really like it. Another named item, Twisting Fates, which is a rapier. I think I've already got one of them. And it says here plus 1 more item, but I'm not sure what that is, so I'll have to have a look and see. Okay, some random green stuff. Okay, so I'm going to dump all that. So I'm going to just lock the items that are interesting. And you can probably see that I've now picked up, over the course of this, I've picked up quite a few of these heart runes. So having 3 of the same heart rune means that I can essentially make 3 of the legendary versions of these if I have enough bits. Let's open another one. Let's hope for maybe 3 Lego on this one. Let's try for something good. Okay, so didn't get Lego. Got at least 2 named items, 3 named items, 4 named items. Wow. And this bit here that says plus 5 more items, not sure what that'll be. But named items, there's a few of them here. Now, when you play on the test server, you get a number of things given to you to get you going. So you get test versions of gear. The perks on them are entirely random. So when you open the box and pick the gear out, you get random perks on it. Sometimes it means that what you get is not the best. Um, However, let's have a look. I'll be 2 seconds. I'm just going to go and do something. So, let's see. We've got one, two. Yeah, we've got 4 named items. One of them is blue. So a pleasant reminder. Played crits, Vorpal on a musket. That's probably going to be quite nice actually. I'm going to look at that. Yeah, mince. Springs Renewal, a life staff. You're not got Scooby if that's good or not, but it's blue, so it's probably not going to upgrade. This one has the colour scheme that has that like shiny bit, so I think that's upgradable. Not sure if that's good or not. Need to know what the third perk is, so I need to actually go through that process and upgrade it. And Chardis Foot Wraps, so Ancient Ward Invigorated. I can't remember what's the third perk on Chardis. I'd have to look that up. Yet again, another Minor Rune, some Tempest Materia, and a pile of stuff that will be able to actually, break. 5 more items. Let's find out what they were. Okay, I think some of the 5 more items were craft mods. Looks like we've got a few there. Seeing a few other things that are kind of tagging as highlighted. Going to run out of space in Everfull very quickly, but never mind. For the purposes of this, I'm just filling storages with kind of stuff. I'll eventually move the Lego and the named items into another storage just to make a bit more room, then I'll salvage everything that's in here. So again, for anyone returning to game after a break, You may have some of these. You may also have some caches that are for Tempest materia. So you'll have cache of Tempest armaments, cache of Genesis, cache of Lazarus. So if you walked away from the game sometime before the summer and you'd been in the habit of buying the orbs on a kind of daily basis, like a lot of us were, then you'll have quite a few of these. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's open 3. Let's go nuts. We'll open 3, see what we get. And the reason I'm opening these is because, as I say, the gear that you get is a bit random. So I'll show you some of the stuff you get. Critical Retribution, Resilient, Relentless Freedom. Nice for the Greatsword, bit random. I spent an hour going through the stuff that was dropped from these various kind of starter packs you get. And this was the best of what I could get out of them. So it's nice enough. Doesn't quite give me the numbers I want here. Doesn't quite give me exactly what I want here. This one's okay. I like this one. It's got Insatiable Gravity well. But I know that some of the named items have better. So I'm going to take a pause for just a second. I'm going to open up a different storage. So as you can see, Monarch's Bluff, there's a whole pile of stuff just sitting here stored. Weaver's Fen is all the stuff I went through to get this selection that I've got. And you open these and they give you, a selection of, every armor or every weapon. So for those of you that have not been on the PTR before, it can be a bit daunting. If you roll a level 60 character at the start, you get quite a lot of stuff, and it's worth just taking a little bit of time to work through it. I've deliberately made a character on here that is quite close to my live character in terms of gear and the perks that's on the gear, or as close as I can get. I'm going to improve on that over the next kind of hour or two of playtime on the test server. I'll get my character as close to my live as I possibly can. Umbral Shard scores have changed, and I'll come back to you in a second and talk to you about that. So I'm going to take a short break for 30 seconds. I'll leave myself logged in, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully the sound's okay. I'm still getting used to this. It's been a wee while since I've done it. So I think I said before we went away that we'll do a number of boxes. So I'm just letting some people know that I'm streaming again, because it has been quite some time since I've done it. Uh, okay, right, so I think I said I was going to open some mutated caches, so we'll do that. Let's see how many Legos we get. Okay, that's not bad. That'll do. The Garden Keeper, Rapier, the Ranger. Some random stuff here. Shipyard's Amulet. That doesn't, I don't think, go third perk. So 4 more items there. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to open a couple more. Wow. Okay, so I think in this particular setup, no named items I can see. Certainly nothing that's 600, so 5 more items listed. Let's have a quick look and see what we've got. I'm guessing that some of the extra items that are listed are going to be things like timeless shards. Yeah, we've got some of the runes. Yeah, crafting mods mostly. Okay, let's open some more. I can carry 6,000 weight, so let's open 2 or 3 more. Let's pick it 3. That's good to have. Small boar hoof. One of the things that's difficult on the test server is you don't get these. You have to work to get these unless you get these mutated boxes and can use them. This time round, I think there's one named item, Emberstone's Promise. The rest is probably going to be salvaged. Let's do another one. Okay, I think I'm running out of luck here. Let's try plus 3 more items. Okay, Zealous Embrace, Light Headwear, named item. Pious Scout's Coat, named item. I'm just going to put a lock on them so I don't accidentally salvage them. I'll do the same here. Emberstone's Promise. I don't know if that's any good or not. I've never really been a fire staff person. Right, this one. See what we get. Oh, Chardis Headdress and Tempest Call are the two best items there. Okay, I'm going to start putting this into storage. Deliberately going a bit slower here because I realise that this storage is getting full. And because I've locked all those items, I'm now going to grab them. Just makes it easier to see them if you put the lock icon on, I think, although actually I like the new colour scheme. It does stand out more. So all I'm doing there is I'm just putting the kind of best stuff or the named stuff into a single storage, keeps it in one place. From there, it's much easier to search for items that have got the same name. So I know that there's a couple here with the same name. So there's Twisting Fates, and if I want to search for items with the same name, as soon as I get far enough in, it links them. So pick the one that's the highest. So 590. They're both 590. So the reason I'm saying pick the one that's highest is if you've got one that drops at 590 and one that drops at 599, then you're going to try and level up the 599 one rather than the 590. I think the way that these particular boxes are working, they're always dropping stuff at kind of 590 it seems. I would just test that. So the Legos have all dropped at 600. Everything else is 590. I suspect that won't upgrade, and that won't upgrade, and that won't upgrade, but leave them there anyway. Okay, we'll open another couple of boxes, and then that'll be that part of this done. Okay, reasonable set of boots. Not seen that before. Shipyard watch hat. Some whetstones, Lazarus materia. Yeah, let's open some more. Let's get like some really good stuff going. Okay. This is more like it. So we've got the Surgeon's Ring, which again, named item goes to 600. Can't remember what the third perk is on that, but we'll test it. The land is Blunderbuss. Again, named goes to 600. We'll get a third perk. Can't remember what it is. I don't have some of these items on live, or if I do, I don't use them. Sunrise Kiss, again, named. Dex, so that's a spear. Now that could be an interesting one. And Withered Bow is a crafting resource. And I'll show you some of them. Got 2 more items. So those are those kind of crafting resources. Now what this is doing, and this is part of the reason I'm doing this, is it's giving me materia for some of the dungeons. It's also giving me crafting mods so that I can craft things and potentially craft stuff that's better than what I'm using. I'm going to open 3 more of these and then I'm done. It's addictive. It's like little boxes that you could open. It's like, oh, what's in the box? Not seen that one before. Infinite Chaos. Interesting. I've picked up 2 or 3 pieces of gear here that are probably better than what I'm using. So we'll open another 2. Oracle's Amulet. That feels kind of niche now. The Great Axe. Keen Vicious Crippling Reap. Ooh, that might be quite fun. What I'm hoping for here is Great Swords. So that I can do a bit more testing on it. Gonna get Mince here. Yep. Instrumentalities Amulet. Mince. Okay. Right, we'll do one more. That's disappointing. Okay, I think we're done with that. So all that remains is I'll dump the gear. Now I've not salvaged any of this yet. I will, but what I'll do is I'll salvage it at a point where I just need the stuff. And for those of you returning to game, if you were in a position where you had lots and lots of Tempest orbs and lots of mutated orbs that you hadn't used, you could be coming back to the game with, you know, conceivably you could be coming back to the game with 40 or 50 or maybe even 60 orbs, each of which would turn into a box, and each box would give you a number of drops. The Tempest ones will give you about 6, 7 or 8 drops. The mutated ones, well, that's what we've been demonstrating here. Okay, so that's enough of them. What's next? Stuff that's changed. So the order of things is different. So any of you that play on live just now, you'll know that charcoal is sitting at the top, and then you have your metals. Well, you have your precious metals, and then your metals. This has all been rearranged. Um, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I still feel like charcoal should be at the top because it's one of the things you're going to be crafting every day. There are a couple of things here that you can craft that you couldn't craft before. I don't think we could craft azurite chunks. Sulfur is a new material, and the rest of this is pretty much what you'd expect. If we have a look at, I can't remember what's changed on this. So the difference here, glittering ebony is now in planks, it's not in refining material conversion. Other than that, it's probably pretty much the same. The workshop, I don't really use the workshop that much, so I can't really comment. But what I have noticed is that all the kind of crafting areas that use timeless shards, they're at the top now. And I don't know if it's just that Amazon realised that people were crafting using timeless shards more often than they weren't, and they put them at the top. Unfortunately, I don't have a crafting, a weaponsmith potion on. I'm not wearing the weaponsmith gear, I don't think, at the moment. Otherwise, I'd have this sitting at about 590 would be possible. And because I'm collecting the perks by opening those boxes, I'm slowly but surely getting an amount of things I can craft. So the way that they're doing the recipes seems to have changed slightly. Just the ordering of things. There's a couple of other things that have changed as well that are worth noting. So those of you who play on live and you're used to pressing G for guild, it's now F4. This is Monarch's Bluff. Is this Monarch's Bluff? Yeah. The look and feel of this place has changed quite significantly. Basically, think of it as a medieval castle. So the buildings have a kind of almost Tudor period look. The bigger buildings like the cathedral and the rest of the kind of the walls have that kind of castle kind of look going on. It's very nice. And for some reason I can't access the town board. Because I'm somehow using my fishing rod. Excellent. I've obviously hit that when I was meaning to press F4. Town board quests are the same as live currently. Live recently brought in some new quests on the town boards. There is an event running. I have done absolutely nothing with this, so I'll not be talking about it. I might do a separate stream for this if I can find time. For those of you that know Monarch's Bluff, the layout is the same, it's just the look has changed quite significantly. Personally, I really quite like it. I'll not spoil the lore by showing you it. And that's us back to here. So if I go to the forge, again, timeless shards are at the start. I've got a timeless great axe shard. I, however, don't have enough Asmodeum, but I could potentially chuck perks on that I want. Asmodeum's easy enough to get. Maybe chuck a Trenchant Crit on, or Trenchant Strike on, or a Vicious, choose a perk, and craft it. So that is that. If we look at the map, we can see the new zone. I don't want to spoil too much on this, but the new zone is big. It's very big. Size-wise, I mean, you can have a look and you can probably see that it's larger than Ebonscale Reach. It's larger than Morningdale and Restless Shore put together. I'd say size-wise, it's almost the same size as Shattered Mountain, Great Cleave, and maybe Eden Grove, all in one go. Certainly enough in there for us to be playing with and getting on with. There is a starter quest that you pick up, and it tells you at the bottom here: begin the Brimstone Sands questline. Strider of the Sands, either SM, GC, or ER outposts based on faction. I'm playing as Syndicate, so I had to go to the I think it was the Shattered Mountain one up here. Went to that outpost. Had to do a quest in Shattered Mountain. I'll not spoil that. Relatively straightforward. The first time I did it, it gave me the thing I needed, but it was bugged and it wouldn't work. So I had to abandon the quest, do it again. It's a known issue, it's on the forums. Did it again, got the item, and was able to make my way into Brimstone Sands. Was supposed to go in via here, but I was up here, so I went in this way. But for the purposes of this, maybe I could run my way into there. I could, but I've already managed to make it to the central town, which is here. It's called Brimstone Sands Capital. You have a fort, same as other territories, and but the difference here is because it's so large, you have a couple of outposts. So you have the Wikala al Waha and the Taberna Mercatus. And this is very much in keeping with the lore of this region. So if you've read anything about the lore and about the fact that it's a kind of Egypt meets Rome, you'll see those kind of themes wherever you go. So I'll just quickly travel to Brimstone Sands. I'll not show you too much about it because I know that people don't want to get too many spoilers. But it gives me an opportunity to highlight this. So the new loading screens, I think I'm a fan. I quite like that idea of you're getting a piece of art rather than just a standard screenshot. You're getting to see some of the background work that's gone into the game. I'm running very carefully here so as not to spoil something. I will show it to you, so be prepared, anyone that's not wanting to see big spoilers. I will alert you. So Town Hall here is a little bit fancier than the Town Halls in some of the other zones, as you can see. The lighting effects are really rather nice. I like the fact that you can see the reflections almost on the marble. But if I walk out here and look this direction, my first instinct on seeing that was, I wonder if I can climb it. So this has a very kind of Roman feel to it, but you have that Egyptian theme as well. So surrounding it are things with that Egyptian kind of lore. But yeah, this feels very Roman. This is a huge town. Just no other way of saying it. It is just huge. Um, I think I think I'm probably right in saying that this is the largest single town anywhere on the map. Stuff is spread out. Yeah, so stuff is spread out. Um, it feels larger. I mean, I've always felt that the largest kind of town to navigate your way through, just because it's on three-dimensional levels, is Ebonscale. But this feels bigger. The artwork in here is fantastic. They've done a really good job of building something that's completely different to the towns that we're used to. And for those of you that have played any time on live at all, you'll know that the towns fall into a couple of distinct patterns. The pattern, I suppose, is still there to a certain extent, but the look and feel is just so much nicer. They've obviously spent a lot of time on this. So that's the pub. And it just feels like the time just goes on and on and on. So if I run here, so town gates, some interesting things in the distance. I will show you that in another stream perhaps. But that's the town gates. If I run through town, we'll see how long it takes. And there's lots of houses here. You need to have territory standing 10, obviously, to be able to get a house here. And to get territory standing 10, well, you're going to have to go and do stuff in the territory, kill things, do missions, usual stuff. So there's the kind of, is this the East Gate? Yep, East Gate. Honestly, this place is huge. I really like the design that they've used in here. I just think it's really nice. The fact that you're running about and it's telling you that you're in a particular section. I'm deliberately not bringing the load up for very long. I'll come back and read this myself. So you can't jump over there. Make my way across here. Thankfully, all the crafting's kind of in a central area. Some of the towns on the main map or the current map, they're just a bit kind of. I just feel like some of them are a bit cluttered in that it's not obvious where you need to go if you want to make things. But what I like about this is they have taken that on board. They have had criticisms from people about just how out of the way in a town crafting is, and they have taken that on board. And on this particular instance, they have made sure that all the crafting is in one zone. And this is just a muckle great big statue, which I am desperate to get to the top of, but I just don't think it's possible. And for any of you that have played some of the Assassin's Creed games, there is a statue in one of those games that you can climb up. I'll not go into detail about how you climb up it. I just feel like there must be a way to do it. It feels like it's something that they've put in and there's a challenge there. And I know that they have put jumping puzzles in. So some of the familiar areas for everybody have new little puzzles that we can go and enjoy. So I don't feel like I'm going to be able to jump across here, but we'll give it a try. Nah, wrong skill, wrong ability. And that is us at the edge of the town. So as you can see, the town is absolutely huge. So comparison, there's Ebenskill, which actually is quite big. And there's the new town, which is I think about 4 times the size. Oh, didn't notice that earlier. That's nice. Really nice touch. Okay, that's my first little stream. I've not streamed in so long, so I'm a bit rusty. But that's my first stream in a while, and that was just to give you an idea of like what mutated caches look like, and a tiny little bit of a flavour of what the new map entails, what it looks like, particularly the new town. Don't want to give away too many things, don't want to spoil the experience for people, but if I stand around about here and look out the way, this is a nice view across the whole of the town. So it gives you an idea of just how big the town is. It also gives you an idea of just how big the map of this area is. So those mountains off in the far distance are kind of the edge of the territory. This bit here, these kind of mountains here. So that's the edge of the territory. And then if I look across this way, you'll see it just goes on and on and on. And there's some very nice big features, but that's a subject for another day, I suspect. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream there. I hope anyone that watches this or watches this video finds it vaguely informative. That's the whole point of it. So mutated caches, if you had a mutated orb in your inventory before you left the game and you've come back, it will now be a mutated cache. It will be orange. It will drop about 15 to 20 items. You have a decent chance at getting named items that are pretty high on the loot tables. So, you know, boss level equipment. You saw there, I picked up a couple of items that were like Chardis, they were Doomwalker. I didn't get any Isabella or Nishaton items, but on live I did, because I had a pile of mutated orbs that got turned into boxes. Crafting, a little bit of change to how some of the crafting stuff works. Everything's been kind of reorganized. And actually, it just feels like there's a lot of nice little quality of life changes that they've made in the game. So, as I say, things have been reorganized in the crafting, things have been reorganized in terms of inventory, and actually, one of the key changes, and I'll show you this very quickly before we sign off, one of the key changes is this. So, the storage sets are now in alphabetical order. That might feel like a minor change to a lot of people, but actually, although it'll take a bit of getting used to because they're not in alphabetical order on live, it will make it much easier to get to a location, look at what you've got in it, and you know, potentially for those of you who like to hoard, like myself, it might make it actually easier to decide where to place things. I have two very quick points. There are some bugs that need ironed out in the testing. So if I show you, actually I'll show you the storage again. I have a house in Monarch's Bluff. It has 4 storage chests, and in Monarch's Bluff there is a bug, so you can only have 1,000 storage. And the same is true of Windsward. I have a house in Windsward, I have 4 storage chests, and it's bugged. I have a house in Ebonscale, I have 4 storage chests, and as you can see, it's showing 5,000 storage space in Ebonscale. So I've not got the money. As you can see, I've only got 50,000 left. You start with 100k. I don't have the money to be able to kind of trash houses and then pick up new houses and other bits of the map to test if there's, you know, other ones that have got the same problem. It's a known issue. It's on the forums, and people can look it up to their heart's desire. I might do a separate video about this, but very quickly, umbral shards. those of you who are used to playing on live and are used to the Umbral Shard system and increasing your gear score will know that generally speaking you can get from 600 to 610 for very little. So 205 shards is probably less to get to 600. I think to get to 600 from 590 on live it's about 450 shards. What you'll very quickly spot though is to get from 600 to 610, that's changed. In fact, it's all changed. The entire Umbral Shard value from level to level is different now. And they've evened it out because it was the case that you could use 100 Umbral Shards to go from 600 to 610 and then use a Gypsum Cast on that item and get more than 100 shards back. You can no longer do that. Okay, I think that's more than enough of me whittering on. Hopefully it's been informative, hopefully you've enjoyed it, and for any of you that have watched, thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry I've not been able to reply to any comments on chat if there have been any. I only have one screen at the moment, so I've not been able to look. If I do any more streams, I will of course get that sorted out. Thank you very much, and have a good evening, everyone.